Hello, everyone. This is Professor DePaulo. Welcome you back to Psych 265 fully online. And today we're going to talk about the method section, which is a really easy section to write for your APA manuscript that you're currently methodically undertaking. So if you go into your assignments tab in Blackboard, you'll see method guide, and the video for this guide will also be posted under the assignments tab in Blackboard. So let's take a look at this method guide. So this is it. This is all the method is. So you're going to write the word method. You're going to center it in 12-point regular text. I use Times New Roman. Some people use Arial, but use some like standard. I like Times New Roman because it's a standard font, not some crazy font. 12-point text. So that should be centered. And then you have three subheadings: participants, materials, and procedure. So these subheadings have to be italicized in 12-point font, right? So these are the subheadings, so they're left justified, left margin justified, and they're in italics. And after you put the subheading, like participants, in italics, you're going to start writing the text on the next line, the subsequent line. So the participants basically identifies who are the participants, what are the total numbers of participants, and number of males, females, non-binaries, and age ranges. So here's the data that we have for this class. And we don't have age ranges inputted here, but we do have genders inputted here. So we're going to skip out on age ranges and just stick with the gender counts. So out of that list, a total number of 19 students, 3 males, 15 females, one non-binary, were recruited from a research in psychology class like 265 at the Borough Manhattan Community College. That's it. And you see how participants is in italics, and then I wrote basically what was under here, the participants on the start of the line underneath the word participants. Actually, I spelled that word incorrectly. Participants, okay. So there were 19 students, 3 males, 15 females, one non-binary. Don't worry about the age ranges because they're in the original data set, but I haven't broken them out, and they're generally not that important anyway because the vast majority of people are within a limited age range. But the students, in terms of genders, the participants, gender identities, these are important to include in your participant section. And they were recruited from Psych 265 research and psychology class at BMCC. So basically, I've given you the participants. So materials and procedure, not much different, very easy to write. Should take you a total of 10 minutes. So let's go back to the guide. So 1 or 2 sentences describing the materials used in the study. So what we used here was an online survey that measured the variables in our study: empathy, attachment style, health anxiety, generalized anxiety, depression, and somatization. So those are the variables we measured in our survey. So you should write something along the lines of um, an online survey that measured these variables, and you can list them out. Uh, that took approximately 30 minutes to complete, was utilized, basically. Online survey measuring, anxiety, depression, etc. All those variables that took approximately 30 minutes to complete was utilized in the study. That's it. Because our only materials were basically a survey. So there's not much to really talk about here. Now, this could be a lot more in depth if we were doing something other than just a survey. So if I was doing some kind of experimental design, that would be a lot. There would be a lot more to put here. But when you're doing a survey, uh, there's not much really to talk about other than these are the variables we're measuring in the survey. The survey was administered online, and how long it took, about 30 minutes or so, maybe less. Say about 30 minutes. And the procedure, which is the last section, once again in italics, you just need to write students completed the online survey as part of a research requirement for the research and psychology class. And that's it. If you want to put the time that it took, students approximately 30 minutes, you can put that under the procedure. It probably belongs more appropriately under the procedure than the materials. But the bottom line is this is a really, really, really basic method section because we didn't do anything other than take a survey. Once you start doing an experimental, intervention and it gets complicated and you're running, ANOVA and you have multiple independent variables or multiple dependent variables, you're going to have a lot more to put in your method section. But if you're only running a survey, then you just really have to put that you took the survey. You could also put, if you want, in the procedure section that correlations between the relevant variables were calculated in Excel. If that makes you feel better about putting that in, that's optional. But basically, there's not much to do here other than 5 minutes worth of a description. And I've done most of it for you, if not all of it for you, by just talking to you about this. So I expect this to be basically 10 out of 10. If you format it correctly, you include basically what I'm telling you to include, there really shouldn't be a problem. And this is your opportunity to boost your grade. Your introduction grade may not be as high as you want it to be, even though it's a rough draft. The introduction's a lot harder to write than the method section, obviously. It's probably one of the harder sections to write. I mean, the discussion's kind of hard to write. I would say discussion is probably the most, discussion, introduction. They require more effort. This is really a 5 to 10 minute thing. Format it correctly, save it as a PDF, and upload it. So once you're done with this, you're going to upload it under method. So if I click on this, it brings me to turn it in assignments. And you'll have an option to upload it here under your name. And this is under the assignments tab right here, where you can upload it. So click on this method, you upload it, you're done. And that's pretty much it. So 19 participants total, 3 male, 15 female, 1 non-binary. Recruited from a research and psychology class at Borough Manhattan Community College, BMCC. And then the method, the materials, and the procedure are basically the survey was completed online and it measured the variables. So the variables you could find in the introduction, the things we were looking for in your hypotheses. We looked at empathy, we looked at mask wearing, vaccination status, health anxiety, fear of future pandemics, depression, generalized anxiety, attachment style and anxiety, right? So these are the variables that were of interest, and those are the variables you can list in the under the materials part of the method. And that's basically it. And for those that didn't write these hypotheses in your introduction, I wrote to you to please include the last paragraph with these hypotheses, just basically taking all these hypotheses and putting them into a paragraph. And that was missed by a lot of students that submitted the introduction, but you have a chance to revise for the final paper. So the method section should be 10 out of 10. It's the easiest section by far. I've basically given you most, if not all of it. I shouldn't expect any problems with it, but if you have any questions about the method section, please let me know, and I'll get to them when you submit them, probably by the weekend. So that's about it for now. Hope